Team Wars deck choices for week 8. My name's Glanzer, and we're gonna go quick and dirty through this. We're gonna just take a quick glance and kind of see what options they have available, just to kind of get an idea. All right, let's start at the top. We have Slave versus the Coon. At first glance, Slave looks like the choice. Not being able to break Slave can be a really, really impactful part of Team Wars. I'm just checking if there's transmog or DSR or anything like that that would mess with them. No, it doesn't look like that. So I'm going to say Slave is probably going to be your choice. It's the same cost. Coon doesn't do that great without hamsters. I guess we will have hamsters. But without Mosquito to get the double boost and stuff like that. So I would say Coon isn't as good. Also without Call Girl pulling him out isn't as good. So I would say that Slave is your choice this week because of just the fact that if you don't break his heal, it's game over. Regen versus Hyperspeed. Regen is almost always the choice. You can regen Slave past half health. You can regen a Dougie or an Assassin that's heading towards New Kid. You could just regen a whole push that's gotten impacted by different stuff. You know, lava and him and his blast and all sorts of stuff could be happening. So yeah, regen I think is the choice. You can leave that low level. You can leave that level 3 and there's like no big deal. BHK, is there anything that kills him? Mintberry Crunch, I guess. But you could just keep him away from that fairly easily. The boost that you could get with BHK boosting behind like a Slave, BHK boosting behind SWOW, that's gonna be brutal. So let's go BHK. That's also gonna be like you could build one really great way to build a push would be put SWOW or your Slave against their Slave on your side, and like your goal is to not break the Slave. Your goal is to just sit there, put Slave out and put BHK out, and then maybe put Robin Tweak out on the Slave or something. Put something else out to get the boost. You could do the SWOW and just get BHK boost beyond belief, and don't break that. You won't end up breaking the Slave until your tank unit has enough damage from the BHK boost to break through the Slave, that's just gonna snowball to a win probably. So I think that's a good idea. Also, Robin Tweak on the Slave that just broke half so that they have to break it again. That's an obvious choice. Robin's gonna be the choice. Robin is just so good. Just so good. Gunslinger, like I said, you use his ability once, no big deal. Robin, use your ability, incredible heal. It heals and gives you more health, so it's like it's double heal basically. And then, I mean, using that on BHK makes him basically invulnerable. He can take 3 Mintberry Crunch shots probably after that. And then after that, Robin doesn't get hit by New Kid. Gunslinger gets hit by New Kid. So if Robin's streaking on the side, that's a bar. Meanwhile, Gunslinger could potentially get hit by New Kid, or I think he gets hit by New Kid, pretty sure. But either way, he's got less health and less attack, so he's not as important. Super Fart versus Freeze Ray. I personally really like the Super Fart, or I really like the Freeze Ray, because like especially with Dougie, that can win you matches. But you know, Super Fart potentially against the Gnomes. Super Fart just to cycle, not terrible. So I'd be fine with either. I would prefer in my deck Freeze, but it is probably technically the better deck to have Super Fart in there. If you have Super Fart to lead, play Super Fart right away. It's a good cycle. Once you get to 10, play it. Forces them to play into you. It's not bad. Disarray versus Dougie, definitely Disarray. That's gonna basically make. Oh, dude, that's why you run BHK, because Randy's just gonna die immediately if you run Disarray. Randy's like the only really good Disarray target, other than I would say, obviously if they run Alchemist, which would be stupid because simply Disarray exists this week, in my opinion, and also the Imp. Like it'd be such a bad pick to go him. Even if you had him level 6, it'd be a bad pick. So yeah, this is which one we're on? Yeah, Dougie. Disarray for sure. The Doug, I mean, if you go freeze ray, you could maybe go the normal Dougie and try to steal a bar that way, but like there's just too much that they could do. They could use future Randy and screw you up. They could super fart you with oh yeah, super fart for Dougie, that's right. Super fart is a really good Dougie counter. If you use super fart against this Dougie, you basically make them worthless. You saw that in a couple Team Wars ago. Hamsters is the choice just because it's hamsters. Like nothing beats hamsters. Best assassin in the game probably. SWOW for sure. Future Randy's just too easy for people to misplay, in my opinion. So SWOW is going to be consistent. Imp Tweak is going to be the choice simply because if the team goes him and he's sitting in the back and he can just blast your SWOW and your slave to death, that's tough. And also if you just have him level 4, level 4? I don't know. I'm not sure the level. But if you just play him mid and attack New Kid once, it takes the bar at level 14. So it's like pretty brutal. But I don't think he's the choice this week though, so you might not see him very much. But yeah, definitely Imp Tweak. Poseidon. I mean, what could Shaman stop? What could Shaman stop? Nothing? Nothing? Nothing. The freeze? But he'll probably get frozen with it. So that Shaman doesn't do anything. Poseidon slow. Could be impactful. You play him in the corner, use the slow. Might work. Pretty good start card. Kind of wasted it, you know. Robin, Dougie, and Freeze to catch the 2 quick bars did exactly. That's what I would be thinking. I hope one of my I hope like Angry Cows or something goes Freeze Ray. I don't ever talk to them about what deck they're picking. I always tell them after the fact. I was like, by the way, like that wasn't the pick this week, but it was still a fun deck because I want to do these other. I don't really care if I win or lose on that team, so I don't care if I have the best deck, and I want to kind of have some fun. So the last couple events we had completely different decks on that one, so it's kind of fun. But yeah, Imp, Poseidon. Ooh, Super Craig versus Heidi. Picking Super Craig is interesting. I would assume I like the Heidi. I like the Heidi for the for just like the 2-cost cycle, but you know, Super Cred deals with these two pretty well. It's not terrible. I don't think that slot matters really at all. If you have the levels to have Super Craig at like 6 and 7, sure. Otherwise, Heidi's probably better just for the quick play. Like I would want Heidi to play to Lightning Rod the Mintberry Crunch ability, right? Because it can take a hit without dying. So it can take 2 hits potentially. You put, just like you'd put Inuit, you put him in the corner, force Mintberry Crunch to attack that, and then it either makes him stall on the Mintberry Crunch, or it just doesn't impact you that much. Saves your BHK, saves your Mintberry Crunch, saves whatever. So that, I feel like we'll probably switch that to the Heidi pick at the end. And then Mintberry Crunch is the choice this week just because, you know, this guy's just going to get pulled. And this guy, if you didn't know, doesn't pull... Oh, wait. No. I'm thinking of a different card. I'm thinking Commander Hat. Commander Hat doesn't target aerial units, but Imp does pull aerial units. But pulling the Mintberry Crunch in isn't as, like, guaranteed that you're going to kill the Mintberry Crunch with the Imp. Because if you pull Mintberry Crunch's ability will hit the Tweak pretty much whatever direction it goes, because it hits like right around the Mintberry Crunch's ability, like where he is. It's like a little AoE around him and then in a direction. So if you're attacking Mintberry Crunch, you're going to be hit by the beam. And if anything else hits the Imp, then the Imp is dead. So Mintberry Crunch might just end up in the middle of the field, just still blasting everybody, because other than Imp Tweak, the only other way you're gonna hit him is with one of these or your own Mintberry Crunch. So, or you could super fart him if he was almost dead, but it's just scary to have. Mintberry Crunch is definitely scary. I would definitely Robin, Tweak, Mintberry Crunch probably would be the biggest target. If you can get a really good slave Mintberry Crunch or slave Robin on the I would say that would be like an offensive thing, or if you could really defend with it, that'd be a good idea. If you have if your slave already has a good BHK boost, get more health on him could be good. I would say only when he gets half health though, because then you can boost past it and you have to break it again. Otherwise, you know, SWOW with some extra health could be good. Just getting him out there with the heal and his attack can be good, because his attack is just quite good. Otherwise, yeah, the only thing that I don't agree with the votes so far, which these are prelim votes, they're not necessarily guaranteed that this is what we're going with, but I personally would switch to the freeze or the Heidi, and then I would maybe prefer the freeze ray. But you got to go the super. You got to go the super fart just in case they go this Dougie. It just makes it. The super fart basically makes this Dougie like you can't pick this Dougie, but some people might not know that. So you go Dougie, you use it right. You use the super fart right before the Dougie gets there. He stops charging. He doesn't attack though. He gets knocked back, and then instead of charging towards new kid, he waddles slowly towards new kid. So then it's really easy for anybody around there to take him out, or you to kill him with hamsters or something. And then it doesn't matter about, is this the freeze one? No, the attack boost. So then it doesn't matter if, I mean, what I'm thinking is, what if like somebody plays the Dougie, hits new kid, uses the future Randy, brings everybody back, and then somehow protects the Dougie as he walks all the way back there, and then Dougie hits with like 400 extra attack and kills him. If your SWOW levels are poor, I mean, I guess at that point you would have to go future Randy. If you can't get SWOW to at least 3 on like everybody on your team, I would say at least 3. 4 is obviously ideal. 5 is overkill. But otherwise, yeah, future Randy, because you could really leave future Randy at level 1, and he would at least save you from a Dougie in the last 10 seconds of a match, kind of thing. Like, he at least would do that. But that's a tough deck without her though, because then you're just dependent on the slave for your tank, and there's not really any, like if you go imp, you go him, there's like nobody else to block new kid. Like, it's actually, everything's aerial or an assassin. So like if they play SWOW mid and you don't have your slave and he just pushes into you, like you might be in trouble. So that's why SWOW is just, I think, the right choice. Even if it's gonna be level 2, it might be the right choice. But yeah, that's gonna be the choice. Those are gonna be the choices. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments on YouTube. Appreciate you guys being here. And we'll post this up on YouTube right now, or shortly, for Monday and Tuesday, so you guys can get a chance to get your deck right, and then go from there. As far as levels go, nothing in particular really stands out. As far as like where obviously you can save levels in the super fart, you could save levels in the regen, and then you could probably, if you are short on caps, you could probably leave Poseidon at like 5. If that actually saves you to get something else up, Poseidon 5 is probably, because you just want his slow. You don't really care about his body. You're just gonna put him up in the corner and get 1 slow. Like, that's your goal with Poseidon. Play him in the corner when you have a push at their new kid. Use his ability once and just hope that slow helps you out, and then kind of reset your push after that. But only if you have 10 energy. Only if you have 10 energy. Anyway, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, YouTube. Bye-bye.